All right, here we are, April, our first picture in a picture class. So we're going to draw the one that was in the newsletter, the one of a lion head with the African Serengeti inside. As always, I'm going to start in pencil, just in case there's something I want to erase while I'm working on my outside shape. If you want to go straight for pen, that's fine too, but I'm going to go ahead and work in pencil. And before we start getting too caught up in all these little details of mane and hair and fur, just look at the big shape. That almost looks like a half of a heart if it was all smoothed out. So I'm going to go ahead and sketch out just a half of a heart. Oops, let's darken my camera so you can see what I'm doing. Draw lightly because we're going to erase this later. You can see how I have this half of heart filling up almost my entire paper. There's only a little bit of space above and below this half of a heart. Then on the other side, if I were to cut this in half horizontally, about half of it is just mane that's coming down here, and that's kind of another just curve with littler curves inside. So I'm going to stick to the big shape and make a curve. That only goes about halfway up my heart. Oh, and there's Kristen too.
Hey, I've seen that guy.
Yeah. First one of the month is going to be our lion guy, our lion king.
Hi, Naime. Hi, Callista.
And then
hi,
we're going to make just kind of a blocky shape. We're going to ignore all these little curves for now, and I'm just going to make the big shape sloping down, sloping, and then connect. Just straight lines, 3 straight lines. I've got one long one, medium one, and a short one. I'll make it a little bit skinnier though. Good thing I'm using pencil. Just erase that.
Your picture kind of froze. Oh, now it's moving.
Here.
No?
I think what I'm going to do is back up, is also join on to Zoom with my phone, just in case. Sometimes my laptop just doesn't like Zoom. Oh, there's Mickey. Let's let her in.
hello, hi. Sorry I'm late.
Hi.
No problem. I'm having a little bit of technical difficulties on my side, so I am
Oh, we're doing this class again?
Get it back up here.
Yeah.
Yes.
Oh.
Okay, I gotta let myself in. There we go. Now if my laptop stops working, at least I will have my phone. Oops, but not like that. There we go. Okay. Why am I still X? way over there and see if that stops the echo. Okay, so let's get back to drawing.
Yeah.
We're going to start refining this shape. Up at the top here with the mane, we've got this curve and a little tiny spike. And we're going to go a little bit more and a little spike. And then we'll do a big curve and a little spike. And we'll keep doing that 1, 2, 3 more times. Big curve, little spike, big curve, little spike, and one more big curve and a spike at the bottom. Oh yeah, this is one of my favorite classes too. These drawings are fairly easy when we do them together, and at the end they look so impressive. I was thinking I might try coloring some of mine. Naima asked me at the beginning of class what kind of tools we were going to be using. She had her colors all ready. And I said, well, we're going to use ink pen. But hey, you might throw a little color in there too. See what you get. On the other side, we have a little bit like shark fins, where it's curved and then straight, curved and then straight. So from the top here, I'm going to make a little curve straight. And another one, curve and then straight. And we want a nice clear silhouette, so I'm going to try to cut out like a little chunk here to make it real obvious that these are different portions of the lion's mane. And the last one, I'm going to connect up to that bottom piece. And then let's work on the lion's profile, his face. First thing I'm going to do, we already have a shape that is the overall shape. So I'm going to cut out this little notch where it shows his eyebrow. I'm just going to cut that out so that I have the top of the nose and the top of the brow. So just a little boop. I think mine might need a little bit longer nose. I'm going to go out a little bit more. If it's looking more like a baboon and less like a lion, you just need a longer nose. Oh, Mickey got dropped. Let's let her back in. And then for the front of the face, we've got the portion of the nose right at the top. It comes down about 1/3. So I'm going to keep that like it is, just darken it in. Then we'll make a little bump for the lip, coming in just a little bit. And then a nice big fluffy chin. So I'm going to add a few little fur tufts, a few little spikes down at the bottom there. And there's our lion. I'm going to wait here about 2 minutes just so that you can compare your drawing to the one that you're looking at. Even mine are different, right? I drew both of these and they don't look exactly the same. So if I wanted to try to get my drawing to look more like this one, I have to look at both of them and go, okay, what's different? What's different? I think this maybe is too long. That line there, it's way shorter over here. So maybe if I just made this line shorter, it would look a little bit more like the demonstration drawing. If I look at this one and this one has a more round chin. So maybe I want to change my chin, be more rounded. As much as possible, I try to draw the new line first and then erase the ones I don't like. This makes it a lot easier to figure out where to draw your new line. For example, over here, this nose sticks out a little bit more and there's that diagonal line there. On mine, it's kind of flat. If I try to just erase it and draw the new line, I'm not sure where to draw it now because I don't know if it's this much tilted, that much tilted, I'm not sure. But if I had my old lines there, I can still kind of see them, so I'll draw them back. And I say to myself, I want it to tilt more than that, then it's easy to just go, okay, I'll have it tilt more than that. Put in my new line. Then erase the old one. So much easier. Just about 1 more minute for you to refine your drawing. Maybe you want to take a look at the mane. If the mane is looking too dangerous, too much like Scar from The Lion King, maybe round off these points just a little bit. Anytime anything's looking a little too scary, if you just add curves instead of points, that'll help to make it look less scary, less dangerous. Oh, absolutely. You might have noticed all of those dots. You go, oh my goodness, I can't do all those dots. Don't worry, I have some other options for you. If you don't want to do dots. Okay, I think it is time to ink. So if you have a fine tipped marker or even just a Sharpie marker, we're just going to outline everything that we drew. I'm getting a notice that my internet connection is unstable, but we will carry on. So I'm going to grab my marker. And one little tip is try to lift up your marker every time you come to the end of a line. So let me show you here. Oh, it could be Mufasa. It looks very much like him. Huh? I'm not going to try to do the whole thing in one go. I'm going to do one little line and pick up my pen. One little line and pick up my pen. This helps me to stay on track on my pencil line and not get too caught up in looking ahead. I'm only going to look at this one little line, pick it up. one little line, pick it up. Ooh, Sharpies smell. I gotta get some different markers. One little line. Try not to use your fingers so much when you're inking. That's good for tiny little lines. That can be done with wiggling your fingers, but for these bigger lines, I'm taking my whole arm off the table and I'm using my shoulder. To get those big smooth lines, you need big muscles in the shoulder. It'll be hard at first because you've never used your shoulder to write your name or do anything else with a pencil. But as you practice, it'll be so much easier than trying to do it by wiggling your fingers.
And you're round.
Yep, I went all the way around. But I'm going to pause here just in case you're still working on your outline. After your ink is dry, you can take your eraser and get rid of any other pencil lines that are still hanging around. And then we'll go ahead and pick where we want the grass to stop growing, or we know this as the horizon line in some of the other classes. So I've noticed that it's below his face, right? So I'm not going to put it way up here. I'm going to go down a little bit and just kind of cut off this part of his mane. You can draw a line straight across because everything else that's filled in black, we won't notice that there's a line in there anyway. So I'm just going to make a line like this. Doesn't have to be perfectly straight, just a little guideline. I'm going to zoom in on this grass texture here, and I want you to notice that the grass is very tiny little dots at the top, and then they get longer and longer and longer as they move down to the tip. This is to help express that the grass is bigger as it gets closer to us and smaller as it gets farther away. Just like we know happens with all things that are the same size. When they get closer to us, they look bigger, smaller, looks farther away. So I'm going to start making just little dots, just little tiny dashes, small as I can make it, just all the way across my line. Like somebody spilled ground pepper on my drawing, so small. I'll just scatter them all around. at the line right there. After you're done with that, we're going to do the next one just a little bit bigger, little dashes. And you can see they're not in an exact straight line. They're kind of jumbled up. We don't need to draw it like this, like perfect. You could, but it would take you so much longer. And let's have a little drawing music. Okay, ready for the next row? It's going to be just a little bit longer. Maybe 1/4 of an inch, a little less than 1/4 of an inch. Just making some dashes. And I'm sure you've guessed it by now. I'm going to do it longer on the next row. So far, I've just been making my grass go straight up, but let's say one day a rhinoceros came along and laid on some grass. You can also do some sideways if you want. And we're going to keep doing that, just increasing the size of the grass each time we go down a row until the whole bottom part of our lion is filled up.
I can't believe that more people aren't taking advantage of it.
Because obviously
Commercial.
we got a promotion.
I'll be able to move up in the
All right. Next, we're going to draw this nice big tree over on the side. And so I'm going to begin with, where do I want the trunk? Maybe somewhere in here. And I decide how wide I want it. Maybe about like that. Of course, you can make your tree as big or small as you want. Just remember that as the trees get smaller, they look farther away until you get to that one way in the back. And this trunk is going to go up and into many branches. I'm just going to make a couple of squiggles. Squiggles, squiggles everywhere. And then I'll make some little lines coming off. They look a little bit more like branches. And then for each branch, I'm going to make this skinny part at the end. And as it comes back to the tree, the lines are going to get farther and farther away, a little bit like a tentacle, so that the branch gets thicker as it comes to the trunk of the tree. You might want to switch to your bigger marker if you have one to fill in the trunk. A lot faster that way.
It feels fresh, clean, and I can easily update it myself.
Or if you want to give it bark texture, you can stick with your small pen. And that is fine too. And it's your choice, but if you want to darken the grass right at the bottom of the tree, it'll look like a shadow. So I could come back in here and add some more marks closer together. It'll look like all the grass is in the shade right there. But it's up to you. You're the artist, you get to make decisions. Then for the leaves of this tree, you might have already noticed, it's not our typical tree that looks kind of like a cloud. Most of the time I draw trees like this, right? With little bumpy leaves coming out of the branches. This one's, yeah?
The savanna trees.
Exactly. So we're going to use flat lines, horizontal lines, back and forth lines. So I'm going to pick a spot on my branches and I'm just going to go back and forth, back and forth, back and forth until it gets thicker and thicker and thicker and it looks a little bit like foliage, a little bit like leaves. When you're working in pen, it's always easy to add more. It's a little harder to take away. So start with just these little blobs and start working up into bigger shapes. If you want to get your bigger marker out, that's fine too. In fact, I think I have a marker that's a little bit bigger than this one, but not as big as a Sharpie. That would be perfect for this. Right over the top of those beautiful branches you just drew. And it can go right to the edge of your outline. If you drew your tree close to the edge. If not, it might not. If you have an empty spot and you go, hey, you know what? I think some leaves would look really great right there, but I don't have a branch. That's okay, just draw the branch in. Maybe there's a little branch right here. When we draw our next tree, the important thing is that the trunk has to be a little bit higher than this one. So when I pick the spot for my next tree, I can't put it anywhere below this shadow down here. I'm going to have to put it a little bit higher. So maybe I want my next tree to grow out right here. I'm just showing you guys, you don't have to do this on yours if you don't want to. I'm gonna have my next tree grow out right there because it's higher up on my paper. And we'll do the same thing, but we're going to do it a little skinnier. So my trunk this time is only gonna be maybe about that wide. Thinner than that one, so it looks farther away. I'm going to do the same thing. I'm gonna make little wiggly lines. Like somebody threw spaghetti out of the pot. Make them get thicker as they go down into the trunk. And then add little secondary branches. Sometimes you might go a little overboard like I just did, and you go, ah, look at my ugly tree. What do I do? You just cover it up with leaves.
Have leaves.
I'll just do my big leaf shape right there. I'll pause here for about 3 minutes while you work on your trees. About 2 more minutes. If you feel like a master at trees, you can go ahead and start making that little one way off in the distance. Right in the middle there. So tiny. Or you can wait for me and I'll be drawing it at 4:45 and 1 more minute. All right, I'm gonna go ahead and draw my tiny tree right in between these 2 big ones. It's gonna be way off in the distance, so this one, the trunk is only going to be about that thick. I'll only have a few branches because it's so far away we can't see all the tiny ones. And I'll just make one big shape for the leaves. If you think you can do it and make an even smaller one, you can maybe fit it over here. Smaller, smaller, smaller. Then you pat yourself on the back and go, hey, this is looking pretty good already. A few other shapes we're going to do. These could be more trees all grouped together, or they could be mountains. We're just going to make the straight line that we drew before look not so straight by adding some of these shapes back here. So I'm going to do the same thing, just using flat lines and just fill in a couple of shapes, little bumps here and there. Gives the illusion that there's something far, far away. Now let's do those jumping antelope and gazelle. So we're going to start with this one right in the middle, and you can see it has a little bit of a baby carrot shape, or maybe a little bit of a Vienna sausage, if anybody still eats those. Oops. I'm gonna start with a little rounded off kind of bean shape, kind of baby carrot shape, and fill it in. Should probably use my bigger marker for that, so it'll be faster. That's going to be the body. Maybe I can get both of them on the camera here. Let's see. I'll have to fold my paper, but that's okay. So I just drew the body part. Next, I'm going to draw some long legs. This one's easy because it's just sticking out straight out in front. Just like with the branches, I'm going to make it a little bit thicker where it connects to the body and a little skinnier as it goes away from the body. The other front leg is bent a little bit. So I'm going to see it go up and then down. Maybe one more curve there if you want to see the hoof. There's a little tail on the back. I'll add a little bump there. And then the back legs, you can see they're a little bit like backwards check marks. You've got a long line and then a little short line flicking up as the hoof or hoof, depending on how you say it. Another one. Next is the neck, which is just a little, was that trapezoid? Little block right on top of the body. A rectangle for the head. With a little ear on the back. And then the part that really makes it look like an antelope, those horns. It might blend in a little bit with the grass, so you can make them a little thicker. This one here is already leaping off the frame, so we only have to draw the back half. Nice and easy. So I'm going to draw just half of a body, a little oval, half an oval there. A little tail up in the air. And those back legs. This time I'm going to add a little bit of a curve. And then go down. That's a little bit of a zigzag there. Zig, zag, zig. And the other leg is so close to it that we only have to draw the part that is coming out from behind it. So another little check mark. And then one more coming from this side, but we don't have to draw the whole thing. In fact, I don't have a whole lot of space to draw the whole thing. So I'm just going to draw a little bit of the body here. That's all I have room for. Same thing though, I've got the neck. Color it in. Skinny rectangle for the head. And then those horns or antlers. Forget if they're horns or antlers on antelope. And this one happens to have both front legs curving. So I'm gonna have one curving up here. I might not even be able to fit in the other one. Oh, it's too close to the edge. I'll have to make it straighter. Here's the other leg. All right, woo, already 4:54. Well, let me show you the easier way to do the sun and we will be all done. I'm gonna go back to my pencil really quick and sketch out a circle. If you can't make a circle to your liking, you can always find something in your house to trace. I'm going to sketch out my sun. And then I'm going to make a line just like when you're making rays off the sun and then go dot, dot, dot. I'm going to try to make them different lengths. So if I drew the last one that long, I'm going to make this one a little bit shorter. Whoop, my pen's running out of ink there. And then when they go behind the trees, you don't have to do that one so much, but I'll go up here. Doot, doot, doot. Of course, if you like the dotted version and you're thinking that you were looking forward to drawing hundreds of thousands of dots, be my guest. I'll just go back and erase my lines from the sun. Make sure it still looks like a circle. If it doesn't, I might have to adjust some of these lines. Add some new ones. And there we are, success! Don't forget to sign your work. And today is 4/7/21. Although I did discover that yes, we do get your name when you submit it to us through the email, so don't worry about it if there's no name on your picture. If it's with the submission form, we will get it. So even if you're not done, I hope you guys will share what you've done so far. It's sharing time. I'm gonna remove my spotlight. And looks like Nima is ready. Let me spotlight you for everyone. Keep holding it up.
A little higher.
Up a little bit higher. Oh, look at how good that came out.
Yeah.
Very
Excellent.
nice. Loving those trees.
Trees are excellent. It's good. I'm not done.
Oh, you're not done yet? How about Callista? Are you ready to share, Callista? Not yet? Oh, yes. Let me go ahead and spotlight for everyone. Woo!
Excellent.
More excellent trees. Very
Yes,
nice. Look at that
yes.
grass.
The grass is great. That took a long time.
I know. Grass takes a long time. And then Mickey, did you want to share anything this time or pass?
Pass.
Pass.
Sorry.
All right, no
Here's
problem.
how
I just
far
don't want
I
to leave you
am.
out.
I'm not done, but
Oh,
I'm
let's see
working on that
Kristen's.
sunshine.
I'll spotlight. Whoops, for everyone here. Let's remove that one.
There.
Woo! Looking good.
I like that way of doing the sun is a lot faster.
That's
I'm
a
not
lot
good,
faster. Yeah, a
but
lot faster.
I can do it.
Excellent. Well, next time we'll be doing a cockatoo in the jungle. So I hope you'll join me again next Wednesday. Thank you for coming today. Maybe you'll want to join me on the next class. That's the Secret Lives of Cats. Bye.
Oh, yeah. You are dismissed.
Yeah. So good job, guys.
Oh.